Yeah, I don't know. Guys, let me know. I'm doing it on my tiny, tiny, tiny little phone, because I was doing it on the iPad. Okay, I need to click off of this. Guys, gotta let me know in the chat. Am I here? What's going on? So can anyone hear me? Yeah, let me know, guys. Can you hear this? Can you hear this? Okay, good. Good. How about now? Can you hear the whisper? How about now? Can you hear the whisper? Okay, got it. Got it. All right, guys. This stuff is crazy, technology. I mean, this is like alien technology. All of this stuff is just totally wild. So, yes, I'm going to be looking at you on a tiny little phone again because for some reason this thing was just not working. You see? Well, whatever. Anyways, this was giving everybody a chance to practice what Eckhart is saying. He says, well, it's all right. I wasn't waiting. I was just standing here enjoying myself, right? So, yes. All right, let me get my bearings real quick. What have you guys been talking about? We got chapter 4 we're going to be reading. We're going to discuss the chapter 4. Let me know if you have something in particular to say about a certain part of it or whatever. And we will see. So let's... I'm just still not convinced that it's working. Okay, well, we're going to go on anyways, as if everything is working just fine, okay? So, all right, guys, let me know where you're at. What are you thinking about the book? You guys have read chapter 4. Yes, Ms. T. Yes, you're awesome. Yes, you're awesome too. Spinster Mountain, Jamie Copeland, Cecily Cronin, Susanna, Muddy Paws, Lisa T, Kenny Green, Hogue. Yes, got the whole gang. So John Evans says good morning. And let us see. Hoke says, I'm 50 seconds behind, but you're 5x5 on sound. Okay, good. Good, guys. So, yes, we are going to talk about trying to see what you guys were talking about beforehand, but just making sure that everything's good. And so this gave us a golden opportunity, when the technology was not working. I could have been like, oh, man, why is it always me? Why does this always have to happen when I'm technology? The frustration could come up easily. And it used to come up very rapidly. Frustration about something like that would come up very rapidly because that's what I practiced. And so I sort of became good at that. But then over the years, and especially the last handful of years, once the sort of shift in everything, once the shift sort of took place, now I watch the mind so vigilantly that nothing gets by my gaze. No thought or emotion that I don't choose to be there has a chance to proliferate. So, okay, it wasn't working. And so I said, okay, well, there has to be a solution. So I was looking at this and aware the whole time of what's going on. Okay, I mean, there was a tiny little flush of, oh no, a little bit of that, but I just watched that and I could see it within me. I was aware of it the whole time. The mind focuses like this. I just went, okay. And so I tried a bunch of different solutions and stuff. Totally just present. There wasn't the big storyline that was going, oh no, come on. You know what I'm talking about. How many people do that? Creating the huge storyline around that. So as we become the observer, as we become conscious, and it becomes your full-time seat of your awareness, then you have a choice. You finally have a choice to whether or not I'm going to allow that to proliferate, or I'm going to just step outside of it and I'm going to watch it. I'm just going to watch it. Okay? So let's see here. Let us get into a let us just do a 5 minutes. What's up, Graham? What's up, Brian? Ari, Pam from South Africa, Ms. T from Texas, right? It is Texas, right? Or was it Mississippi? Brian says, you're right. I would have lost my mind a few years ago, but now all is good. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And as we'll see, we'll use it as a talking point when we get into the book, but it's all the story that we would create around it. And so once the story is seen for what it is, a fabrication, a story, a written story by the ego mind, then we can just, wait a second. I don't choose to do that. But we'll save that because this is perfectly relevant to the book. So it can all be tied back to the book. No problem. So let us just drop into a 5-minute meditation, guys. Okay? So wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, just put it down for right now. Set the book down. Make sure the spine is straight. And let us take 3 deep conscious breaths all together, all over the world. Hold. And let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. And let it go. Last one. Fully in. Fill the lungs. Hold. And let it go. Now, allow the body to breathe however it wants to breathe. Just allow everything to happen in this moment, exactly as it wants to happen, without any influence from you. Allow the breathing to happen however it wants to. Whatever sounds are happening in the environment, it's all right. Just allow it completely. If there's little aches and pains in the body, this is okay for now. Just allow that to take place. And breathing in, breathing out. Now consciously relax the jaw muscles. Completely relax the jaw and the neck. Spread the relaxation down into the neck. And notice if there's tension there. If you were holding or clenching the jaw, notice this. Then relax. With each exhalation, you sink deeper and deeper into the relaxation. The shoulders are relaxed. The upper arms. Now the forearms and into the hands. With each exhalation, you relax. The lower back, the leg muscles, the calves, relaxation. And now fully relax the entire body. Now fully relax the mind. No need to think about anything. Just the breathing fully aware of the sensation of air as it flows in and out of the body, but also aware of how deeply relaxed the body is. Relaxed but alive. You can feel the energy field in the body. Feel the energy field circulating through the body. Feel the energy holding you to the earth. Notice how the mind has become quiet and relaxed. The breathing has become steady and rhythmic. If thoughts come into the mind, that's all right. Don't allow it to disturb your peace. Just watch the thoughts. As they come into the mind, they're there for a little bit, and then they float out of the mind. It has nothing to do with who you really are. The body is deeply relaxed. The mind is relaxed. The attention is spread between the breathing and the inner energy field. The sense of aliveness or electricity that is in the body and around the body. This electromagnetic field extends several feet beyond the physical body. Together, let us take a few deep conscious breaths to come out of the meditation. I'm breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Last one. Fill the lungs, maximum capacity. Hold. Let it go. As you come out of the meditation, notice how there really isn't a defining line between being in the meditation and being out of the meditation. It's all kind of blending together now. and your life becomes more and more a type of meditation. Your awareness will become self-sustaining. Every thought, every sensation, every emotion, you will be able to see it the moment it arises. You will be able to see from where it came. You will be able to see that it is present at the moment and that it will soon dissolve, like all forms do. All form is subject to the law of impermanence. This includes thought forms. Nothing lasts. Everything is in a continuous state of flow. The universe is dancing all the time, and it never stops. Okay, my friends, so we're going to get into the book here in just a moment. I wanted to share with you guys, though, if any of you guys are into, if you have a lot of computer work to do, you got to get on this mouse. It is a vertical mouse, guys, and I am absolutely loving the liberation that it has done to my hands. Instead of being crammed like this, it's in a handshake posture, and it is so nice and easy to use this thing. I can't even, if you have a lot of time, like editing or writing a book or something, also get you one of these ergonomic keyboards. Totally game-changing, okay? Because this is for your health. You got to. This is what I was using before. This thing's a joke because it strains the wrists and everything. This thing frees up the wrists. Oh, so much better, guys. So much better. So I just wanted to let you guys know because I would want to know that. It took me a long time to discover that stuff. So, chapter 4, my friends. What is some thoughts? What are some... Yes, Muddy Paws says, oh, mind and body stretch. Much better. Yes, that is very much what it's like. It's wonderful to stretch, guys. Oh my gosh. I have my stretching today, and it is fantastic. Especially once you get more elastic and supple, then you can stretch further and deeper, and it's not just painful, and you can stretch, really. But it's good that you have a regimen, a stretching program. Don't just, okay, I'm just going to do a couple stretches of whatever kind, whenever. No, certain days a week and a certain protocol. That's how you advance. That's how you progressively become more supple. So, chapter 4, guys. Mind strategies for avoiding the now. So, the question and answer format of this book, the questioner says, even if I completely accept that ultimately time is an illusion, what difference is that going to make in my life? I still have to live in a world that is completely dominated by time. This is a great question because we get this a lot. And I'll just go. Eckhart explains. He says, intellectual agreement is just another belief and won't make much difference to your life. Intellectual agreement is just another belief and won't make much difference to your life. To realize this truth, you need to live it. And what does that mean? When every cell of your body is so present that it feels vibrant with life, and when you can feel that life every moment as the joy of being, then it can be said that you are free of time. Listen to that, guys. That I'm gonna highlight it. That is very important, all right? Because that is possible. That is the gate. So many people say, okay, time's an illusion. I understand that there's only this moment. We are all born and die in the same moment. Okay, so there's no time. Well, what does that do for my life? And immediately people that are still in the ego mind state, the time-bound mind, they are thinking, okay, well, now what? That doesn't do anything. Okay, I accept it fully. But that doesn't really do anything for them. And Eckhart is saying, because to realize this, you need to live it. It can't just be another belief, another mind structure. So you will know that you are free of time when every cell of your body is so present it feels vibrant with life. This is what we're talking about. This is the energy. This is the meditation. This is the infinite spirit going before us, opening the way, the infinite wisdom telling us what to do and say. That is what it's synonymous. It's the same thing, because all of the spiritual teaching is trying to describe something that is indescribable by its very nature, because it is the totality of all that is. And so there is nothing that is outside of it that can say anything about it. Do you understand how a knife cannot cut itself because it is the totality of itself? A flame cannot burn itself because it is already the totality of itself. And so you can't describe what this is, but yet we're trying to. People in various ages and various religions and various cultures have described the ultimate truth as best they can. Describe the dreamlike reality of this realm, that we are living in a dream. But how do you describe that? Using something as constrictive as language. It almost has to be more like poetry. So it's abstract. And so this is what he does. And so he describes it like this. So Lisa T says, Chapter 4, can you share more about surrender as strength and spiritual power? Love hearing about it to help build resilience. Much appreciated. Can you share more about surrender as strength and spiritual power? Yes, we will, definitely. But I think that we will get into that here in a moment. But I will remember that. So then he goes on to say, when you have had your first few glimpses of the timeless state of consciousness, you begin to move back and forth between the dimension of time and presence. First, you become aware of just how rarely your attention is truly in the now. But to know that you are not present is a great success. That knowing is presence, even if it initially only lasts for a couple of seconds of clock time before it is lost again. Then, with increasing frequency, you choose to have the focus of your consciousness in the present moment rather than in the past or the future. And whenever you realize that you had lost the now, you are able to stay in it, not just for a couple of seconds, but for longer periods as perceived from the external perspective of clock time. So before you are firmly established in the state of presence, which is to say before you are fully conscious, you shift back and forth for a while between consciousness and unconsciousness, between the state of presence and the state of mind identification. You lose the now and you return to it again and again. But eventually, presence becomes your predominant state. So a lot of you are experiencing this, and I know from talking with you and questions and also life experience that this happens to people at a certain point. And they will experience moments of profound peace and of profound satisfaction within, just a profound sense of knowing that everything is all right. Everything is all right. You are all right. You are indestructible. That there is the state of the world, everything is all right. And you will feel that as a feeling, not just as a thought, but it will overcome you like like you're just nestled in the bosom of the infinite mother. And that is a glimpse. And then that might go away. I'm talking at first you feel that and then that goes away. And then, oh no, so what was that? I experienced that in meditation, or I experienced that when I was in the sauna, or I experienced that in the ice bath, or in the just walking in nature, I experienced that. And so the thing is, don't get hung up on trying to capture that. If you've started having these experiences, don't get hung up on thinking, okay, now what can I do to go back to that state? Nothing. It is your natural state. That is presence. That feeling of satisfaction is deep presence. It is the one, infinite spirit, the spirit that moves in all things. And so you're glimpsing these things and it's coming out and you're feeling it, but it's not sustaining yet. It's not sustaining yet because the ego mind comes back in and the problems come back in and the total delusion that I am a separate being in a world of other separate beings and that there's an external reality that's different than an internal reality. All of that is the delusion. And so you'll get pulled back into that, but then you will go back into the state of presence. And the state of presence feels really, really good. Yes, Brian says, such a beautiful feeling. Definitely. So here's the thing. Don't try to hold on to it. All right? Just acknowledge that it's there and realize that that is already your birthright. That is your natural state. And so allow it to be. Allow it to be. So, Matias, what's up, my friend? Says, hey, Nate, joining a bit late. I will watch it back. Hey, yeah, we actually started really late. We had technical issues. So, yes. And don't worry, Lisa T, I'm still going to answer this question as surrender to spiritual power. So, then he goes on and talks about ordinary unconsciousness and deep unconsciousness, all right? So, we won't get into all of that because, I mean, I assume that you guys have read all of this. And so I read through it and then I highlight parts that I want to emphasize and talking points. But if you need clarification as we go along, just speak up. So he describes the difference between ordinary unconsciousness and deep unconsciousness. It is most people's normal state. In that state, you are run by the egoic mind and you are unaware of being. It is a state not of acute pain or unhappiness, but of an almost continuous low level of unease, discontent, boredom, or nervousness, a kind of background static. You may not realize this because it is so much a part of normal living, just as you are not aware of a continuous low background noise, such as the hum of an air conditioner, until it stops. But when it stops, there's a sense of relief. And so when we are talking about unconsciousness and suffering and things like that, we are not talking about like just straight misery, acute like pain, like there's a sharp dagger in you. It's more the chronic unconsciousness, the chronic kind of pain that is just low level and that is, hey, thank you very much, Serene Dakota, $5. Glad it's a little late because I am too. Great and beautiful morning to everyone. Yes, thank you. And so it is just the background noise. And so most people don't even realize that's the thing. That's the number one thing that I have found when I was teaching meditations at the Buddhist temple and stuff, and we would go to the like colleges and stuff, and we would do talks with people. That was the thing. It was, okay, how do you explain to people that they're sick? Not sick, but like, how do you explain the unconsciousness? It's just become such an ingrained part of their life that they accept it. And the human being can adapt. The human being is a marvel of adaptation. And so it will adapt to that low level of just kind of background unease, boredom, restlessness, sort of unhappiness. These are all what we're talking about. All of that can dissolve. So, Emma Gabe says, it's about staying in a place of non-judgmental attention. Absolutely. And so he says, in ordinary unconsciousness, habitual resistance to or denial of what is creates the unease and discontent that most people accept as normal living. So I will use this example one more time of the child, of the young child, the toddler. Remember, okay? So the toddler has a toy. Now you take the toy from the toddler and place it over here. All right. Now, if the toddler has not yet developed a sense of self, the ego mind has not yet crystallized, then there will be no resistance to that, because the reality of what is that the toy was moved from point A to point B. That's the reality of what is. Now, the unconscious habit pattern, the ego mind, the storyline, if the child has already crystallized the ego, will say, hey, that was my toy, and you took my toy from me, and now I don't have my toy. Maybe you gave it to someone else, or I want my toy back. All of that is the mind-created suffering that we're talking about. All of that is habitual resistance, and it starts young. Habitual resistance to or denial of what is creates the unease and discontent that most people accept as normal living. So we're not saying that, oh, okay, so I'll just be like a robot and I'll have no judgments about anything and I will just not think about anything and just whatever happens. No, it's the total opposite of that, actually. You're a robot when you are in the reactive patterns of the mind. You don't have the capability to step outside of that. That's when you're a robot. So to step into your true power, you start to see more and more the reality of what is. Okay, well, I have got a big problem about this situation, but what is the actual reality of it? Okay, in this example, if the child was thinking this, okay, well, what's the reality of what is? The toy was moved from point A to point B. That's it. Perfectly neutral, as all things are. Perfectly neutral. Now, if the child was conscious, then it would say, okay, now I have a choice. I can either develop that storyline and say that was my toy and I want that toy and all of this, or I can just let it go and I can feel the peace within and I can move on in life to something else. So you begin to have a choice with how much storyline is really necessary. And but most people don't have this choice. Most people are pulled into the storylines. So, but that was my toy. Or I can't believe she said that to me. All the history that we have together, now it's all just gone. All that stuff we worked for, it's all gone now. All the storylines. You can choose. Just let it go. So when you learn, Eckhart says, let me take another drink. So Eckhart says, when you learn to be the witness of your thoughts and emotions, which is an essential part of being present, you may be surprised when you first become aware of the background static of ordinary unconsciousness and realize how rarely, if ever, you are truly at ease within yourself. I highlighted that because it's very important. So when you learn to be the witness of your thoughts and emotions, which is an essential part of being present, what are we doing in the meditations, guys? What are we training the mind to do? We are training the mind to be aware. We're training the mind to observe, to witness them, but not become entangled with them. That is the key. You don't become entangled with the thoughts because then they have you and then they start emotions. Once that energy gets in motion, then it becomes the emotion. So he says, when you learn to be the witness of your thoughts and emotions, which is an essential part of being present, you may be surprised when you first become aware of the background static of ordinary unconsciousness. And then you realize how rarely, if ever, you're truly at ease within yourself. This is shocking at first to a lot of people. When they start meditations and they start practicing it consistently, meaning daily for a few minutes or even multiple times a day for 30 seconds or 1 minute, multiple times a day is great. They will realize, whoa, okay, how often they are creating these elaborate storylines around something that is just perfectly neutral. And so then you start seeing, and it's like jaw dropping. And then also when you do the 5-minute meditation like we just did, the progressive relaxation one, which is also very important. It's all kind of the same, but you focus a little bit on different things. When you do the relaxation, you will see how tense you actually are. Do that consistently for the next week, and then let me know next week if you are way more tense than you think you are. And I guarantee that you will find that. You will find as you do the progressive relaxation that, whoa, my jaw, I was clenched. Or some people, a lot of people will find that they have, one shoulder is clenched tighter than the other, and it's causing all kinds of back and knee problems and all that stuff. But you have to bring your awareness into it, and it relaxes. So yes. Now, Muddy Paul says, I was in an auditory chamber for hearing tests when I first experienced zero vibration environment. I was brought to tears and felt as if I was taking my first breaths of life. Yes, definitely. Zero vibration environment. Wow. Let us see here. Graham says they love drama, just like TV taught them. They even speak like they're idols off the TV. Absolutely, guys. I mean, we are in deep with this. Yeah, Graham. They love the drama, just like they've been taught on the television. People are trained. The television trains your mind to think in a certain way, but more importantly, to perceive reality in a certain way. It's the most powerful tool we've ever created. More than the atom bomb, more than anything else, is the mass media, the television, and the screens. Way more powerful than anything else. So, Eckhart says, freedom from unhappiness. Do you resent doing what you are doing? It may be your job, or you may have agreed to do something and are doing it, but part of you resents and resists it. Are you carrying unspoken resentment toward a person close to you? Do you realize that the energy you thus emanate is so harmful in its effects that you are in fact contaminating yourself as well as those around you? Listen to that, guys. Do you realize that? Now, you guys probably do, but for the 99.99 of the other people, no, they don't. And this is very important to realize, okay? It's not just me saying this. Eckhart is also in agreement. Do you realize that the energy you thus emanate is so harmful in its effects that you are in fact contaminating yourself as well as those around you? This is very important because a lot of people think that they can keep their thoughts and emotions and feelings strictly to themselves. Now, on one level, this is true. You can be quiet and not say anything, and that's keeping it to yourself. Or you could not act upon these emotions or thoughts. That's keeping it to yourself in one way, in a superficial way, in a really obtuse way. But as people become more acutely aware and sensitive of the way that energy works in this realm, then they know that you cannot hide any of that because it's an energetic frequency that you have created and it emanates into the environment. And so you are saturating the environment with the energy that you choose to cultivate. And this is one reason if you cultivate a really positive, high vibrational energy, people want to be around you. They want to be around you. They won't know why, but they will just know that they feel lighter and at ease when they're around you. Or you will be treated well when you go out. If you have cultivated, purified your mind and your heart, and you are vibing high with high vibrational food for the mind, which is thoughts and energies, then the world becomes very friendly to you. People will become friendly, and they won't know why, and you don't need, well, you know why, because that's how energy works. But they won't know why. But it's in the aura. It's in the whole energy. How many people do you know? I mean, I'm sure you guys are all aware of this to one degree or another. But some people are totally unaware that this is a part of reality. But the energy, yeah, we call it like the vibes. Think about this, okay? Have you guys ever been to like a Southern Revival Church, or like a Southern Baptist church, like on a Sunday where everybody's screaming and yelling and clapping and boom, boom. And it's just high vibrational energy. Everybody is like, take off sprinting across the floor, just take off sprinting. And then they're flopping around on the floor. I mean, really high energy. Okay. The Holy Spirit is there. I've been to these. All right. But then you go into the exact same building and sit in the exact same spot on a random Tuesday afternoon. And now what? The energy is totally different. The energy, even though you're right there in the exact same seat, the place is the same, everything else is the same, but the energy is not electrified. Now, this is just an example that you can use. Okay, so you can think in your own life that you've had situations like this. This is how we begin to see the energy and how it works and how it affects things. Now, this also is true, as Eckhart is also saying, that you emanate an energy field. Research the toroidal energy field, all right? It's this kind of shape, and it's like we can't see it, we can't hear it, but we can feel it. And this is what people feel. So if you're cultivating the negativity, then you are you are saturating the environment with the negativity. People don't want to be around you. They don't know why, but they're like, oh no, don't invite that person, or no, they don't feel uplifted when they're around you. And even though you might outwardly be trying to be, oh yeah, be trying to be positive, but your heart is not true. And so this can be felt, guys. This is so important. You cannot hide this. So it is of utmost importance that you purify yourself. So yes, Ms. T knows, says energy matches energy. Exactly. Yes, the aura. Yes, the aura. And this is not some woo-woo, thing, some metaphysical. No, we're talking, use the example that I just said about the church building. Feel that. If you need more of an example, go to that kind of church in the morning or any kind on a Sunday, and then go back to the same place on a Tuesday afternoon. And the vibration is totally different. It's a very real thing. So Brian says, I have to work at this. My wife, it comes naturally. I love watching her with people. Her energy overtakes the room and everyone is smiling in minutes. Yes, definitely. Some people, it just flows naturally. It just flows naturally. And that's wonderful. Those are the wonderful lights. But it can be cultivated. It is being cultivated no matter what. Whether or not you want it to or not, it's being cultivated. So you have to become the conscious cultivator of this energy instead of just allowing it to, you keep looking at the news and you're thinking, oh man, the world's on the eve of destruction. It's on the eve of destruction. Oh, what's happening in this country and that country? Oh, the elections. Oh man, oh, the fate of humanity rests on this election. Guys, you're cultivating the negativity, okay? You need to expel all of that. You need to exercise, cast it out of your life. And so you get back into the positivity. That's all that matters. And that's what you will experience. So let us go on. Well, Matthias says, how to protect your energy field. I feel easily contaminated by energies around me. That is only in the beginning. And that is because you're a young man. And so the fact that you're even, the fact that you at your age is even contemplating these kind of things is fantastic. And so as your faculties of this become stronger and stronger, you will become absolutely impervious to other people's negative energy. Once your vibe gets to a certain level, it just doesn't matter what anyone else's vibe is, because you're guided by the ultimate. You're guided by the heart energy. So you will the answer of how to protect that energy field will become crystal clear, because the heart will lead you to the right situations. The heart will lead you out of the wrong situations. Even though the mind says, oh, I need to hang out with these people, or I need to go and do that, you will get used to listening to the heart. And so the heart will tell you, nope. And so you listen to that. And so you don't go there. You have to listen to the heart. The heart will tell you exactly what action to take when it is necessary, not before or not after, right when it's necessary. So we have to open the heart channels and just allow it to flow. And that is raising the vibration. And once it gets to a certain point, everything else just bounces right off of it. It's like a force field. It's an impenetrable force field. It's like that. It's not literally. So yes, Val, we will talk about the law of resonance on page 79, definitely. But I want to read this highlighted part I got. So Eckhart says, maybe you are being taken advantage of. Maybe the activity you're engaged in is tedious. Maybe someone close to you is dishonest, irritating, or unconscious. But all this is irrelevant. Whether your thoughts and emotions about this situation, are justified or not makes no difference. Read that, listen to that 15 times over, guys. Whether your thoughts and emotions about the situation are justified or not makes no difference whatsoever. Totally irrelevant. Now, most people would say, well, how is that possible? Am I blowing the microphone out? I feel like I might be. But So it says, the fact is that you are resisting what is. The fact is you're resisting what is. So let us go back to the child example, okay? The child could be perfectly justified. Well, that was my toy, and she said that I could have it, and that it was my toy. So why did she take it again? So you're perfectly justified. The child's thinking, my mom's deeply unconscious, so she took my toy. She doesn't realize the pain and the trauma that she's going to cause me later in life. Blah, blah, blah. No, the fact is you're resisting what is. What is the toy was just moved from point A to point B. Give it up. So the fact is you're resisting what is. You are making the present moment into an enemy. You are creating unhappiness, conflict between the inner and the outer. Your unhappiness is polluting not only your own inner being and those around you, but also the collective human psyche of which you are an inseparable part. The pollution of the planet is only an outward reflection of an inner psychic pollution. Millions of unconscious individuals not taking responsibility for their inner space. So guys, that is really the law of confirmation, the law of resonance, the law of confirmation, the law that states that the inner will reflect in the outer. It is not the other way around. And so so it's saying that you have a responsibility. So you're not just secretly all negative and depressed and with low energy and stuff. You have been cultivating that, and so you need to flip that around. If not for yourself, then for those around you and for the collective human psyche. We are at a point in history that has never come before. We are at a point in history that is just beyond comprehension. And I realized this over those 10 years of traveling, just not the scale of the human endeavor and the nature of the human ego mind. It's all the same in every country, in everywhere you go. It's all the working of the ego mind is the same. So, the pollution of the planet is only an outward reflection of an inner psychic pollution. This is very important to realize. So Spinster Mountain says, if you are in the here, if you are in the now, there is no need for protection. If your vibration is high, no low vibration can get in. Your light obliterates it. Yes, very well said. Very well said. So furthermore, any negative inner state is contagious. Unhappiness spreads more easily than a physical disease. Through the law of resonance, it triggers and feeds latent negativity in others, unless they are immune, that is to say, highly conscious. What are we talking about? Immune. That means highly conscious. Another way to say that means high vibrational. That means aware. That means awakened, liberated. Yes? So through the law of resonance. Now, the law of resonance can be seen like you guys know when there's a fire. Okay, you have one log that is burning really bright and hot, but you have one log that is just kind of smoldering, just like a smoldering barely begin to catch. Okay, so take the two logs, put them right next to each other for some time. And then when you take them apart after some time, the log that was just smoldering is going to be burning super bright. But that did not take anything away from the original log. The original log is just sharing its resonance. That's the law of resonance. The things that are around each other are going to start resonating in a similar frequency. Have you guys seen for sure when you were young, you did the experiment with 2 wine glasses. You take 2 wine glasses and you put them side by side. And you put aluminum foil over one wine glass, and then you sprinkle some salt grains on top. And then you take the other glass and you start going wow, 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 and it starts vibrating the crystals. It starts vibrating the salt crystals, even though you're 6 inches away from the other cup. And this is the resonance, the resonant frequencies. Yes? So we have to we use analogies. We have to be able to see these things, and then we say, okay, so this is also what we're doing here is resonance. Even though we're in all different parts of the world, we come together on the deep conscious breaths, and we are one. We are taking one, and we meditate together, and we are one. We are here, and this is resonance. You can feel the resonance. And as you become more and more sensitive, you can feel this big time. Likewise, though, it works in the other way. What we were just talking about is that if you're resonating on a negative level, that's going to saturate the environment. So you're only... I get asked that a lot. How do I protect myself? How do I protect from the energetic vampires, which is all very real? But the only thing that matters is awakening to your true nature and doing the things necessary to raise your vibration high enough. You become immune. I'm saying this. Also, Eckhart is saying this. That is, it triggers and feeds latent negativity in others unless they are immune, which means it doesn't affect them. That is highly conscious. Yes? So Aaron says, that's what I hope happens, like Nate says. I am so high that he picks up on it. And definitely, guys, we can feel it. We can feel it, especially as you become sensitive. Your meter is very sensitive. I mean, I can feel energies now that are very, very subtle from any distance, because there is no space really. And so any distance, you can feel all of this, yeah? But it's not the mind creating any kind of storyline around any of it. It's just a feeling. It's the infinite, the heart energy that is just flowing through all things. So, let's see here. Got a couple of questions here. There is, Brian says, that is so true. Every time I went against the heart, the situation has failed. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it will be laborious. It will be full of effort. But when you start flowing from the heart, things become effortless. So many people don't understand that. So many people don't understand that. Yeah, especially those close to me, that know my history and stuff. And they're like, how did you turn the tides of your life? How did that happen? I mean, because the end result of where I was many years ago is death for most people, or even worse than death. And so I tell them it was actually effortless. It was actually the easiest thing I've ever done, which doesn't make any sense because outwardly it looks full of effort and it looks like just really a struggle, but it wasn't. It isn't. So so Val, I hope that explained a little bit the law of resonance, what that means. And Aaron says, I have trouble with my partner being very negative and lives in his pain body. He refuses to try and see what I'm telling him. It hurts to watch him hurt. I am struggling. Yes, I feel you, my friend. I feel you. Hopefully you've gotten this book though, right? And you have you are reading through it, because he dives into that, and we will be talking about that here in the future sessions. In the future sessions, we'll be talking about that. But the most important thing is that the individual awakens. So now, this is very important, guys. So Eckhart says, when you have been practicing, okay, so the lady says, the lady is talking about, okay, I'll read the question. She says, but if you call some emotions negative, aren't you really saying, if you call some emotions negative, aren't you really saying they shouldn't be there? That it's not okay to have those emotions? My understanding is that we should give ourselves permission to have whatever feelings come up, rather than judge them as bad or say that we shouldn't have them. It's okay to feel resentful. It's okay to be angry, irritated, moody, or whatever. Otherwise, we get into repression, inner conflict, or denial. Everything is okay as it is. So you can tell by this person's question that they are still living in the mind, that they are still viewing this as a thought, as a concept. It has not become a reality for them. They are saying everything is okay as it is. That's just them saying that to themselves, subconsciously hoping to believe it. They don't actually, that's not a reality for them. And this is true with almost everyone that says this kind of thing. is that they are defending their right to feed their ego. They are still totally operating from the ego mind and defending their right to be unconscious, defending their right to suffer. I see it all the time. And so, and then he goes on to explain things. He says, when you have been practicing acceptance for a while, as you have, there comes a point when you need to go to the next stage where those negative emotions are not created anymore. This is super important to realize. There comes a stage when the negative emotions that this person is even talking about don't even come up anymore because you're not generating them anymore. You're not generating them. And even if it does, the slightest little one, you watch it. You can see it because you become the vigilant guarder, the vigilant watchman of your mind and your heart. And so you can see it as soon as it comes and you put the light of your consciousness there. What does that mean, the light of your consciousness? That means look at it and accept it. Accept it for what it is. That's the reality of this moment. I am feeling this horribly negative sensation, or I have got this terribly dark thought. That's the reality of what is at this moment. We're not trying to say, no, but I shouldn't. Well, it's okay to just sit there and keep feeling it over and over and over and be in a cycle where you can't let go of it. That's where most people get stuck. So there comes a point when you have to go on to the next stage where you don't even create those negative emotions anymore. So if you don't, so Eckhart is saying, if you don't, your acceptance just becomes a mental label that allows your ego to continue to indulge in unhappiness and so strengthen its sense of separation from other people, your surroundings, your here and now. As you know, separation is the basis for the ego's sense of identity, right? So separation is the basis for the ego's sense of identity. And so long as it can continue to indulge in this unhappiness and this storyline that, oh, I'm hard done by and people don't respect me, or I always get treated this certain way, all of that is a storyline. And when someone comes with this message here and says freedom from all of that is possible right now, absolute freedom is available to you right this second. Nothing else needs to happen except the realization of that freedom. That's it. And it will never come back. The ego mind never comes back. But when you say that, the people that are still operating from the ego mind, which is the vast majority of people, then they feel threatened. It immediately feels threatened. They say, well, wait, so you're telling me I shouldn't be feeling what I'm feeling. See, I'm not into repression. That's not healthy because blah, blah, blah. No, you're misinterpreting, you're misunderstanding because you're viewing it from the point of the ego mind. And so what we are saying here is that, okay, at first you accept these negative feelings, you accept the negativity, that's the reality of what is. Yes, no problem. But there will come a point when you have to go to the next level and that stuff will not be created anymore. But how do you do that? Only by consistently bringing your awareness into your thoughts and emotions. That's all it takes. And then very quickly, depending on your level of earnestness, that will transmute all of these thoughts. Because otherwise, you're just it's the ego again. Just saying, okay, well, it's okay to feel all these negative things and all this cyclical thinking, but that's just the ego trying to get more food, the pain body trying to get more food. Yeah, and then the lady says, well, and that's okay too. And Eckhart says, are you defending your right to be unconscious, your right to suffer? Don't worry, nobody is going to take that away from you. Exactly. Don't worry, nobody will take that away from you. But once you realize that a certain kind of food makes you sick, would you carry on eating that food and keep asserting that it is okay to be sick? No, of course not. So Sam Potzik says, Nate, thanks for always showing up. Absolutely, my friend. This is what we are doing. This is all just the very beginning of all of this. I can see it in the vision. This is just the training ground for presentation. So yeah, thank you guys for showing up. That is why it's very important to me. Ginny Grubb says, I have definitely become more aware, but the timing of this chapter came eerily at a point in my life where I needed it. Of course it does. Of course it does, my friend, because that is what the infinite energy, infinite spirit opens the way for you. And so Muddy Paws says, being able to recognize the emotional state and move on has been a healthy survival skill. So grateful. Definitely very important. Pam says, I have noticed when I am doing whatever, like the meditation we do, I finding it helping me to live in the present. Definitely. Definitely live in the present. And the mind will quickly become reconditioned to be more and more in the present. So Matthias says, a lot of YouTube advice focuses on improving life by more effort and suffering, but it doesn't have to be this way. No, it does not have to be this way. And yes, a lot of YouTube advice has got like a system by which you can, improve. And there's like certain steps that you can take and all of this, but it never really addresses the root cause. It never addresses the root fundamental delusion. So Eckhart says, die to the past every moment. You don't need it. Only refer to it when it is absolutely relevant to the present. Feel the power of this moment and the fullness of being. Feel your presence. So guys, many years ago when I first read this book, 20 years ago or something, I didn't understand it. I mean, it was just planting seeds. At that time, I understood it to the level of my comprehension at that time. But now, I see that I didn't understand it at all. But still, it planted seeds that developed over time. So I read the book, and then a couple years later, I listened to it while I was working at the factory. Watch my Travel Like a Viking videos where I was working at the factory, and I was really sort of depressed, of course, because my life was going nowhere, and I didn't want to be at the factory for 30 years. And so I was listening to this book again, and this line right here was the most powerful line of the whole book. I wrote it down in my toolbox like 15 times. But this line spoke to me at that time in my life and changed my whole life. He is talking about waiting. And so waiting for the next vacation, for a better job, for the children to grow up, for a truly meaningful relationship, to make money, to be important, or to become enlightened. But here is the sentence that changed my whole life. It is not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. It is not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. And here I was, 22 years old, something like that, 23 years old, and I am working at this factory, and I'm feeling like, oh my. And everybody's like, hey, congratulations, you got this job. Oh boy, this is a steady job. You'll be here 35 years, no problem. Congratulations. And I was just like, oh my God. And all these people had all these dreams and all these things they wanted to do, but they've never done any of them. They've never done them. They get 2 weeks out of a whole year to do something, and they don't do anything. And so it's just deeply, so it struck me. And I felt already like I had not done anything in life. And so I thought, that's not going to be me. I am not going to spend my whole life waiting to start living. And so I made the plan, and 8 months later, quit the job and traveled the world. Got a one-way ticket to Sri Lanka and sold everything I had, and that was it. That was like the starting point, was that sentence, because it dawned on me. Now, each realization, each sentence, each truth will come to a person in their particular at their particular time. Each fruit in its season, each seed in its season. Yes. So that one struck me at that time. And it's so true. It's not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. Just around the corner is when real fulfillment is going to be here. Not now. I mean, right now is okay, but not like it's just not there yet. So it's around the corner, you know? So they're waiting. They're waiting to find the ideal partner. Then my life will be satisfied. They're waiting to make more money. You know, oh, well, once I get this amount of money, then something will, yeah. Or, and I see this in the spiritual community as well, they're waiting for enlightenment to happen. They're waiting to become awakened. Well, once that happens, it's not now. It can't happen now. But once it does, then I know that then I will be truly satisfied. But not now. This is the structure of the mind. Pam says, waiting is a state of mind, he states. Absolutely. It is a state of mind. It is a structure of the mind. This is important to realize. It is the structure of the mind. So the content of the mind is interchangeable and not relevant compared to the structure of the mind. And so if the structure of the mind is such that it is viewing reality and interpreting the reality of what is happening in that waiting state of mind, then it's always going, the content is interchangeable. It's going to just keep waiting for the next vacation, or, okay, I just used my 2 weeks vacation. Now I got a whole year but where I can't do anything but work nonstop. You know, until next year I get 10 days. Oh my God. Okay. So, you know, this is very common. And so thankfully, that sentence came to me and I got the heebie-jeebie. I got a feeling, whoa, that's not going to happen here. I'm not going to wait my entire life to start living. I'm going to live right now. And I didn't know really what the now meant at that time, but the seeds were planted. And so it blossomed over the years. It blossomed. So Graham says, very true. That's why most people die a few years after retirement. It's the biggest shock they've ever experienced, as they could have done whatever it is long before. Definitely, guys. Man, my grandpa is a perfect example. He had 6 kids, including my mother. And that was back when you could support 6 kids with one. He was the only person working, you know, but he worked 3 jobs. He worked at like Goodrich, at a tire factory, 12 hours. And then he worked at another place. He worked, I don't even know, when I hear stories and heard him talk about, I didn't even know when he slept, for like just a couple hours. And then he'd be back out working again. And he worked his whole life, like 80 hours a week, 80, 90 hours a week, worked his whole life. And finally retired from Goodrich and had a big party and stuff. And literally the very next year just plummeted straight downhill. His health went downhill. His kidneys started failing. He had to get on dialysis. And it was like 10 years, maybe 8 years of nothing but hospitals, doctor visits, hospitals, trips to the hospital. He's back in the hospital, all that stuff, dialysis, all just feeling weak and lame. And then he died. I thought, man, wow. I mean, he sacrificed his life for the kids, definitely. But that just, we don't have to do that right now. You know, I don't have to do that in my life. So I was like, I'm not going to do that in my life. Jerry says, I was inspired to travel when working at a senior center. Despite their position, many were active in their mind, and very encouraging to travel when you can. Definitely travel when you can. Yes, that's another thing that I got the feeling of. Matthias says, I think the advice, if you just grind hard enough, you will be happy, is something you say to slaves of the economy. Absolutely. The grind culture, especially in America, just rise and grind, just working nonstop, side hustles. Everything's about money. Social media, you see, here's how I bought my 2 Lamborghinis, only working 10 minutes a month, something, you know. All of this stuff just keeps people, especially young people, under the delusion that, wow, if I could just have that level of affluence, I would finally be satisfied. That's the unconscious belief. That's the unconscious assumption between all desires, is that finally I will be at ease with myself if I have that possession, or if I have that situation, or whatever it is. They're interchangeable because it's a structure. Like Pam said, waiting is a state of mind. It's the structure of the mind. So it doesn't matter what you get. And I know this because I satiated every single desire I had in life, and none of it did the trick. None of it did the trick. So, let us see here. So Eckhart is talking about as you become more deeply aware of this one step, you realize that it already contains within itself all the other steps as well as the destination. This one step you are taking now then becomes transformed into an expression of perfection. An expression of perfection. That is his way of saying that all things are in a state of unfluctuating perfection. All things are perfect. The sum total of all things is zero, with zero being total satisfaction, total perfection. And that is what he is saying with this, that the state, you are not, nothing is moving. Nothing is moving. There is only the here and now, and it is perfect as it is. This is not a mental label. This is totally beyond that. You're not moving. Things are not moving from a state of imperfection to some state of perfection at some point, because where would it move? There's no time. And so it is perfect now. And so if you don't see that, that's what needs to change. You need to rearrange the ego mind. You need to purify the mind until you see the perfection. So let's see here. How many more? Okay, couple more pages. So Eckhart says, well, the question says, does it matter whether we achieve our outer purpose, whether we succeed or fail in the world? Because he was talking about inner purpose versus outer purpose. Your inner purpose is to awaken. That's the only purpose, if there is such a thing, even though there is no, spoiler alert, there is no such thing as purpose, ultimately. But he's trying to relate this to people that are still in the mind of thinking of the world. And so he says, so does it matter whether we achieve our outer purpose, whether we succeed or fail in the world? Eckhart says, it will matter to you as long as you haven't realized your inner purpose, which is another way of saying you haven't awakened. You haven't become fully conscious. Because after that, the outer purpose is just a game that you may continue to play simply because you enjoy it. It is also possible to fail completely in your outer purpose and at the same time totally succeed in your inner purpose. Deportees Destiny, hello my friend. Or the other way around, which is actually more common, Eckhart says, outer riches and inner poverty, or to gain the world and lose your soul, as Jesus puts it. Ultimately, of course, every outer purpose is doomed to fail sooner or later, simply because it is subject to the law of impermanence of all things. The law of impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts. Nothing lasts even for a moment, actually, when you look deeply into it, even for seconds. Everything is constantly changing. Even things that appear solid. This is essentially, when you come down to it deeply, and you look, and quantum physics is now congruent with this. Even the atoms that create this are popping in and out of existence. To where they go, they don't really know. They just pop in and out of existence like waves. And so it gives the illusion of solid object that's not moving. But even this is moving constantly and changing constantly. So the sooner you realize that Eckhart says, the sooner you realize your outer purpose cannot give you lasting fulfillment, the better. When you have seen the limitations of your outer purpose, you give up your unrealistic expectation that it should make you happy, and you make it subservient to your inner purpose. That's his way of saying, guys, the only thing that matters is realizing your true nature, because everything else becomes crystal clear. All the questions you might have about life, all the uncertainties, all the fears or the doubts or the worries, that all dissolves completely. It really does, and it never comes back. It never comes back. And so he's saying that the only thing that matters is that you awaken. So it doesn't matter. So don't put something else before that. And I can attest to this because in my life, I kept putting other things before the awakening that I knew was going to happen, that I knew had to happen. It had to happen. But I was just, I was just wasting time. I was just dicking around, traveling the world and doing all kinds of other stuff, and then got myself into some real bad situations there towards the end. But I just kept putting it off, knowing that this time had to come. The whole time knowing that it was right there. So eventually I just said, okay, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if I get the homestead that was out there and all the stuff that was going on. None of that, all had to take a back seat and say the only thing that matters is awakening from this nightmare. And so that's what I did. So I had to walk away from everything else. I had to walk away from everything and never look back. And it was the greatest step towards my destiny that ever could have happened. So yes. Jerry says, world-shattering thought. I think I see my abyss yawning ahead. Yes, my friend. Yes, you're getting it. You're feeling it. Definitely. I got you. So Val says, love your analogy of seeing your ego, mind, etc. as an entity. It's helped me to see the barriers to my living in the now as a living thing bent on keeping me out of the now. Yes. You know why that is? Of course, because like all entities, it wants to survive. And how does it survive? By feeding. And what kind of food does it have? Negative, low vibrational energy. The ego mind, which is another way to say the pain body, Eckhart calls it the pain body, is can only feed on low vibrational stuff. Think of a low vibrational wave. But think of a high vibrational wave. Like this, vibing so high, so fast. That entity, the ego mind, the pain body, can only feed on that low vibrational stuff. And so it wants the proliferation of the low vibrational stuff. It wants to keep you from realizing this ultimate truth, that you only have one purpose, and that is to free yourself of the false self and come into your true power. That's the only purpose of this life, because nothing can be greater. So, Pam says, there is still an emptiness inside, thinking that getting more things on the outside is going to just satisfy your ego. Absolutely. It is the emptiness they feel inside. And this is the fundamental delusion of the ego. The ego is always trying to seek. They're always seeking the fulfillment that is created by the apparent separation, the apparent dualism, even though there's never dualism. There's never been two anything. There's only ever been the one. And so the illusion of the two is what gives the ego mind that restlessness, because it knows that its demise is near. Especially, like Jerry said, the abyss. As you start standing at the abyss, the ego mind will do all kinds of things to keep you from annihilating it and stepping into your true freedom. It doesn't matter what stage in life you are. It doesn't matter if you've gone 50 years believing in the delusion of the ego. None of that matters in the now, because it just takes this single moment to awaken. So the Pam says, page 85. Many people are waiting for prosperity. When you honor, acknowledge, and fully accept your reality. Yes. Prosperity. They're waiting for all kinds of stuff. It's interchangeable with so many things, because that's become the structure of their mind. Is the waiting has become the structure of their mind. Now I want to go back Lisa T said, question, can you share more about surrender as strength and spiritual power? Love hearing about it to help build resilience. Yes, surrender, guys. This is very important, foundational to the whole practice. And to the ego mind, surrender sounds like sounds like giving up. It sounds like, a white flag. Okay, I surrender. I'm just weak. I just can't do anything. I just don't have any power. You've overtaken me. Okay. That's not surrender. The ego mind sees surrender as a source of weakness because no, you need to resist. You need to resist it. Now, true power comes from surrender. True power comes from surrender, guys. If any of you guys have ever trained in Eastern martial arts, yes, for example, you don't resist the power of a bigger opponent. You use that power of the bigger opponent against him. Boom, you don't resist that power. You utilize that power. You don't just try and stop right up against it. No, you redirect it like that. Now, this is very true. This is a perfect analogy of what surrender is. You surrender to the reality of what is. So you're not resisting it. So another way to say, okay, here's another way to visualize surrender. Imagine that there is a powerful river, okay? And your whole life you've been walking against the current, the river, and you're battling. Everything seems like such a struggle. How many of you can relate to everything just seems like such a struggle sometimes? And you're battling uphill, up against the river, and the river's flushing against you. Because I've got to resist. I've got to be different. I have problems, and don't tell me I don't have problems. I got a bunch of problems. Don't tell me that I can be happy. No, I can't. This is resisting, and so you're walking up against the river. Surrender is realizing, oh my goodness, I've been walking against the current my whole life. So surrender is to turn around and to allow the river to carry you, to go with the flow of the river. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you stop battling upstream, you turn around and you surrender to the flow of the river, then all of a sudden, the whole force, the whole power, the might of the river is now behind you and pushing you along. You see how the power comes in the surrender. It doesn't seem like that to the ego mind because it's used to battling up against the current. But once you turn around and allow the river to and go with the flow of life, go with the flow of the energy, that is to say, accept what is, then you've got an unstoppable force carrying you along. The whole force of the river is now behind you. So this is how. This is my answer to that question. How is surrender a strength? That's how. So Brian says, I'm tired of waiting. Thanks for the knowledge, my Viking friend. Much peace and blessings, tribe. Yes, absolutely. And that is, if you're tired of waiting, it starts by realizing that you are waiting. And how do we do that? By becoming present. And what does that mean? Become the watcher of your mind. Become the watcher. Feel the sensations that are happening. As soon as we're done here, guys, once this broadcast is done, just take just a few moments, a couple of breaths, become aware of the sensations that are coming, the thoughts that are coming, and then carry on. And then as often as you can think about it, become aware of the now. And you have the tools now, because we've been practicing this for several months now, you guys have. You have the tools. You can use your breathing to become present. Whatever is coming across the mind, you just observe, observe, observe. There's no judgment. There's no, I shouldn't be thinking that because I'm going to become enlightened, so I have to stop thinking about all of that. No, that's still going up against the current. That's still resisting what is. So instead, you turn around and you flow with the current of the river. And then that is saying, okay, whatever I'm experiencing is just what is. There's no mental storyline around it. So Muddy Paw says, I can stop trying to fill the hole because there never was one. Life is already whole, complete, and perfect. Realization, acceptance, and surrender. Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. Yes, it is. And so long as people are, but that will not mean anything to people so long as it remains a thought. Okay, so life is already whole, complete, and perfect. Okay, well, why does it not feel that way? Why is that not my experience? Because it is still a concept. So just keep repeating it. Just keep repeating it to yourself. Eventually, the subconscious mind will take hold of it, and it will become a reality for you. And you will live from that state. And you will say, whoa, there never was a hole. And so any kind of addictions, the addictions to so many things, a substance are easy one, but to shopping, the addiction to food, the addiction to emotional upheaval, the addiction to drama, the addiction to gossip, all these other kind of subtle addictions, that all dissolves because it is all based upon the same symptom. It is various symptoms of one cause, and that is the gaping hole that you feel inside when you're honest with yourself. So that will go away for good. And it will never look back. And you will completely transform into what is your birthright, which is your true nature. So, yes, definitely. Hogue, was that you that sent this to me? I'm not, so guys, some guys thank you guys so much for sending stuff to the P.O. Box. But this is a book that someone has sent to me, Conversations with God, an Uncommon Dialogue. Okay, Hogue says it's not him. I forget exactly who it is, but it might be Susanna. But I've just started skimming through it, and it seems like it's going to be a good read. It seems like it's going to be good. So I will look through it, and then once we're done with this book, we can talk about some of these. We won't go through this entire book, but I will highlight some, as we do it. But it seems very good. I can just tell by feeling the book that it's a high vibrational book. So I'll be reading through that definitely. So yes. Blue Wolf says, we are here to learn to be the best version of ourselves. Nate, you are a wonderful teacher of that. Thanks, brother. You are very welcome, my friend. I'm glad you're feeling it. So, okay, Susanna, was not you as well. Well, okay. I better reread the thing then. But ultimately, it doesn't matter because it's here now and we got it and we can share it with people. And so it's going to be impacting lives, which is important. So, okay, guys, we are coming towards the end. So let us read this. Let's see. Hogue says, last Thrive of the month. Did you hit $100? I didn't hit the $100 mark last month. No. This channel, I don't know what's up with this channel. This channel just doesn't grow for some reason, but whatever. It's because I've tried to do too many different things on this channel and stuff, so it doesn't know like who's the audience, but whatever. It's fine. What we're doing here is way more important to me than, any amount of money, really. So, Val says, how short are you? Short what? Oh, on the money. Oh, I was thinking I'm not really short. But no, it's always like $12 or $18, or sometimes like $3. I mean, just ridiculous amount. But it doesn't reset. It's on the 22nd of the month. It's by the 22nd of the month. Hogue says, how tall are you? I'm about 5'11 and a half, something like that. It resets on like the 23rd of the month, 22nd of the month. So it has to be by then. So, and somebody was like, hey, you could just start a separate, you could like do it yourself and stuff. But I would have to create a whole different account, and that's like cheating to me. I hope to not have to do that. You know what I mean? So, we'll just see, because it'll feel good when that starts happening. But so Eckhart says, yes. So he says, let us in. He says, there is no need to investigate the unconscious past in you, except as it manifests as this moment, as a thought, an emotion, a desire, a reaction, or an external event that happens to you. Whatever you need to know about the unconscious past in you, the challenges of the present will bring it out. If you delve into the past, it will become a bottomless pit. This is so true. And if you've studied psychoanalytics, psychotherapy, all of this, as I have, then you will know that it is designed to just keep you in an infinite cycle of delving into the past, layer upon layer of the past traumas and things that have hurt. The trauma is talking about traumas as if it's a real thing. It's only real if you're believing that it's real. But with the power of your consciousness, you can burn all of that away immediately. Now, a lot of people, when I say that, they go, no, this is unacceptable, because the trauma in them, or what they perceive is the ego mind trauma, is fighting for life. And so they become offended if you say that trauma is not real. Well, yes, it is. And this happened to me when I was young, and so that's why I'm like I am now. Is that really how it is? I invite you to investigate deeper into the nature of reality by going into the nature of yourself, which is the ultimate reality. So, yes, and then Eckhart says, as you become more conscious of your present reality, you may suddenly get certain insights as to why your conditioning functions in those particular way. For example, why your relationships follow certain patterns, and you may remember things that happened in the past or see them more clearly. That is fine and can be helpful, but it is not essential. What is essential is your conscious presence. That dissolves the past. That is the transformative agent. So don't seek to understand the past, but be as present as you can. The past cannot survive in your presence. It can only survive in your absence. Okay? So we don't have to worry about going deep into the past and uncovering all the layers of what happened and stuff. That can be useful once or twice, a couple of times, and to accept the reality of what is and to see what emotions come up. I did that when I was into singing trees. I went through all of that kind of therapy. And that's how I know, okay, it's wonderful a couple of times, but then you have to go beyond. You have to go to the next stage. So it's important that you shine the light of your consciousness on it. This is important. So Sam Potsek says, thanks, Tribe. It's encouraging seeing the same names and wisdom showing up weekly. It is really nice. It is very nice. Muddy Paw says, the tribe needs to recruit. Yes, definitely, guys. We need more people to get into this knowledge tribe here. Hogue says, keep us in the know on that, please. Yes, I will. I'll let you guys know as it comes closer to the 22nd of the month. So, okay, guys. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this stream. And I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys sitting tight while the technical difficulties were being worked out. So we will see you guys. Remember, every Friday I'm releasing the Travel Like a Viking video. Yeah, give it a thumbs up, guys, if you haven't already. Every Friday I release a Travel Like a Viking video, and we are currently in Vietnam, and I'm going to get my first taste of riding a motorcycle through Asia in this upcoming video, which, as you will see as the years go by, made a big impact on me and radically altered the nature of my traveling and of my life. The motorcycle, because I then took motorcycles all over the place. You'll see. But check that out, and those are all in chronological order. You guys can watch. It's a story. It's the whole storyline. You know what I mean? So it's just, they're all in chronological order. And the first one I started making like 5 years ago, so it was very therapeutic for me at that time. But every Monday we'll be doing this. And check out the Discord, guys, about the cold training. This week, I am going to release a cold training and a breathwork video because I got it all recorded now. So we're going to do that and check that out. And then Matias says, Nate, I just wanted to say how much I love watching your new traveling episodes. Nice, my friend. I'm glad you're there. And guys, if you're watching it, then you just leave a comment on every video. I know Val was doing that. Very appreciative. So leave a comment on every video that you watch on this channel and that channel, the Travel Like a Viking channel. The Garden Like a Viking channel, it's self-sustaining now. But we need to get the other ones up to there as well, okay? So VA Green says the traveling videos are excellent. Everyone should check them out. Thank you, my friend. Muddy Paw says we weren't waiting. We were just standing here enjoying ourselves, right? Okay, my friends, we'll see you next time. Wait. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. You are being guided. Don't worry.